Alright, what's up team? It's Sherman here from Geek Psychology. This video is on the Enneagram Type 9, reimagined in this kind of fantasy Enneagram world. I've done all of the other types and now it's time for the Type 9. We're always last as the Type 9s, but that's okay. So first of all, let me just explain a little bit about what the Type 9 is like and go through this kind of list of terms that could be helpful for your understanding throughout the rest of the video. And then I'm going to talk about some of the kind of good sides and bad sides about being a Type 9 or being around them even. And then we'll get into the whole fantasy aspect, and it's going to be a little different than the other videos. So, I don't know. Look forward to it, I guess. So, first of all, the Type 9, we're called like the mediators or the peace seekers, the peacemakers, kind of this calm, chill group that doesn't want conflict. So the Type 9 on the Enneagram is, this very kind of peaceful seeming style. And the list of terms that I'm going to give here should kind of help understand a more technical side of it. So you have the essence, which is awareness or being. This is kind of our special gift, to be very aware of how other people are acting. And kind of what they want as well. The holy idea or the strength needed is love. The holy path or the virtue is right action. It's something I'll explain a little bit later. And all of these I'm going to get into a little bit more throughout the fantasy explanation. The chief characteristic is indolence or inaction. The passion is laziness. The idealization is I am comfortable or I am peaceful. The talking style is saga, these epic stories. The trap is seeker. The defense mechanism is self-narcotization, kind of putting yourself to sleep. The avoidance is conflict. Yes. And the dichotomy is believer or doubter. And the subtypes, the self-preservation is appetite, the social is participation, and the sexual is union. I'm not going to get too much into those for this video. I don't want to give any bias throughout all these videos. But maybe later on I'll go into the different subtypes and kind of growth patterns and stuff like that for all the types. We'll see. So you have that list of terms. Good. You have some ideas going on there, hopefully. And now let's look at the positive qualities of being a 9. So like I said, we're the mediators, the peacemakers. We're caring and supportive, adaptive, very likely to go with the flow. Like we're not going to cause waves or anything like that too often. In that sense, we're steady. Like we have a routine usually and we just kind of go with that. We don't want to make these big massive changes for anything. We're receptive to other people and non-judgmental in that sense too. We're not going to necessarily disclude people or anything like that, or kind of hate on anybody too much, because we're trying to see things from all the different perspectives. And so you have those kind of positive qualities, but also that brings out negative qualities too. Like I said, we're steady, right? So we're also kind of stubborn. Don't really want to change our ways. And we don't want to be controlled. We're self-forgetting. So like a lot of times we put other people's needs before our own. We're indecisive. As I said before, the chief characteristic is indolence and the passion is laziness. So we're indecisive. We don't really know or have the ability, I guess, to express what we want, because we've spent so much time thinking about how other people are thinking and feeling and trying to adapt to that. And we're also conflict avoidant. So we just hate conflict. We'll do anything at any cost to avoid conflict. And a lot of times that is forgetting ourselves. And that's also something that causes conflict, because we're always putting other people, ahead of ourselves. And eventually we're like, well, why am I doing this? Why am I in this situation? Then we get upset about it. So we've done it to ourselves. So you have those kind of ideas about the personality, qualities, and the list of kind of technical terms. So I think it's time to go into the fantasy side. With all of these other types, except for 4 was a little different. We've had kind of this kingdom or city, this realm of this kind of culture. And this one also it's a location, but within that location is where the 9s reside, and we are like wisps. If you've played Warcraft, you should know what a wisp is. I guess there's one in Dota as well. I don't play Dota. I played League of Legends, but so I'll talk a little bit about what the wisp is. In Warcraft 3, the Night Elves came into the game, and it was the resource harvesting unit. It also built buildings, and it had a couple other little qualities that I'll get into in a little bit. But they were like the peons, the peasants. And that sounds really bad right now, but just stick with it. These are the immortal beings, basically. Let me explain the appearance first, okay? So we're this kind of like, the wisp is this face, this kind of ethereal, glowing face, with kind of a ghostly, mistly tail kind of around it, like it's like this fog around it. That's kind of what we are. Okay, so we are ethereal in the sense that we don't really feel like we're of this world. We have this kind of light quality to us that doesn't really seem to exist in the same plane of existence. And we are not corporeal, so we have no body necessarily. And a lot of the type 9's issues come from being disattached from the body. The types 8, 9, and 1 are the body types. They're the anger types. And we have suppressed that anger so much that it doesn't even seem like it's a quality of us. When people see us, they're like, this person is nice and friendly and helpful, and is the mediator, or she's the mediator, whatever. But under that, there is this really strong quality of anger. And it's anger at having suppressed so much and having forgotten ourselves and fallen asleep to ourselves and dislocated, I guess, from the body. And that's where this ethereal and non-corporeal side comes from. So it's just like we're detached from the physical state. And so we kind of have this like glowing light appearance to us. The lifestyle, the life cycle, I guess, of the wisps are birth. First, you start with birth, but birth is also death. In the Warcraft lore, it's kind of speculated that the wisps were reborn as wisps from night elves who have died before, and it's just kind of this rebirth cycle. So our birth is the death of a body, the death of something else, right? The previous body, right? We're kind of reborn in our essence, and we're trapped in this wisp style. In kind of a more real life idea, it's just we feel like we're in this body, but we're not this body. We're not some body. We're just kind of stuck in here. And that's kind of where I went with that, with the birth aspect. And the midlife after birth is this kind of really peaceful time. Time feels elastic to a lot of us, and these wisps are immortal. I mean, they can die if they're attacked, but they're naturally immortal. They'll just continue living if there are no problems. And I really do feel like that. I mean, that time isn't really a factor in a lot of things. Things don't seem urgent. They just kind of go along, and we're there to witness it. And the death and rebirth is something that I'll talk about in the hero's journey at the end of all this. So you have that life cycle, and some of the quirks and the personality aspects in a more fantasy style are that we are supports. We are protective of other people. We're not the ones that are going out there usually and creating this epic story in our normal lives. It's just kind of like we're around, we're here to help other people, and we usually feel that it's okay with that. I'm going to explain more in the hero's journey of why that's not great, but it does feel good, and other people do like being around us for the most part, because we don't cause problems. We don't really exist in that sense. Like I said, we're ethereal. We're just kind of there, like the wind. Okay, we're not like a hurricane or tornado or anything like that, but we're just kind of around, and it feels nice. And also, like I said, the wisps in Warcraft 3 were the harvesters, and you would have the trees. You want to harvest lumber, and you send a wisp over there, and it just kind of goes around it. It just goes in circles, slowly harvesting lumber at like +5 instead of 10 or 20 like some of the other races. But it doesn't kill the tree. It's part of nature. It just wants to be there, and it's not harming the tree. It can actually repair things as well, which is another supportive, protective quality. And it just goes around, running in circles, trying to take care of things, trying to put nature back in its place. Hopefully it's the right circles and not the wrong circles, but we're just always kind of like going around, just spinning ourselves around, trying to maintain harmony. And we do have this broader perspective, and you could think of that as being from a long, lineage, a long story of life and death, being reborn into this wisp style. And just, we see things from a perspective that I like to think is pretty enlightened. I'm not saying that I am enlightened or nines are, but we try to take in other people's views. And I think that's a good thing. The problem is when you forget yourself too much and you don't remember what your views are. And we are seekers. We seek equilibrium. We seek a balance between forces and between nature. And the wisps are like that too. They're just this peaceful entity that's there and trying to maintain harmony. Okay, so those are some of the more positive sides. Fairly. And some of the negative ones are that we're slow. We have this indolence, this lack of action, right? And we don't have like a run feature or a jump or anything like that. It's just kind of we'll make it. We'll get there at some point. There's no hurry. We also lack inertia is another aspect, and that's just We struggle to get started. We resist change. We want things to stay the same, and we also build our routines to do that. And the wisps are like that too. The night elves in general are like that too. Like, this is the way the world has existed for so long. So let's continue this way, and let's not create these waves. And these routines that we make actually put us to sleep, right? They're just like, I wake up, I meditate, I go downstairs, I go to the bathroom, whatever, brush my teeth. And it's just kind of like this back and forth. I don't need to put too much thought and emotion and energy into what I'm doing because it's a comfortable routine. I am comfortable. I am peaceful. And yeah, that's not really a good thing. I've always known specifically that, being comfortable is bad because then nothing good comes out of it. I think drama and all these other things are necessary for growth, and being comfortable is not going to go there. But it's so easy to do. It just feels easy, and I like easy. Type 9s generally just want the easy aspect, and that's kind of tied into the laziness and the idea that we lack this right action, this ability to step forward and do things that really matter. And another one is kind of, we're often seen as clumsy. Like, we're not really attached to our bodies, so I get random bruises and I'm like, I don't really know where that came from. I always have like some body pain or something like that, and it's just because I'm not really there. I'm not really present with my body. Okay, so you have those negative aspects too. If you're a type 9, hopefully you've related to a lot of those. And we also have no attack. Like I said, we're the harvesters. In the other races or whatever, they can, even the harvesters, the supportive style has an attack, right? But the wisps don't. Well, they do, and I'll explain in a second, but their main thing that they do when they are attacked is to just run away. And that's what we do. A lot of 9s will just run away, will kind of shut off, we'll go to sleep, we'll self-narcotize, we'll just kind of be like, yeah, I'm not gonna fight. So I'll either go somewhere else, or I'll just mentally not be here. I'll go seek this other information, try to figure something else out. Look, oh wow, the ceiling's pretty nice and it's got all these designs and stuff, and just kind of tune out of the moment. And as children, a lot of 9s do go through that. Like, there's some sort of fighting or something in their house, and they just they shut it out because they don't want to be a part of it. I certainly do that even now. So we have that, but also we do have one attack, and it's detonate. It's explode. And even in Warcraft 3, they have that too. And unfortunately, it's the end of the wisp unit. Like, it kills itself to do that. So basically, either we have this passive aggressive style where we just, we don't want to be controlled, and if somebody tells us to do something, we'll start it and we'll half-ass it a little bit, and then we'll go do something else a little bit, and not actually do the thing to the level that it should be done at. Or we agree to a lot of things. We'll do this, okay, I'll do this, I'll help you with this, I'll help you with this, and then we just don't show up as we should. Or we explode. So when we've repressed so much and we just can't do it anymore, and we're starting to like well up with this anger and it fills us up, that's when we're just like, I'm done. And you just explode and you dispel and destroy everything in the area. And we're really afraid of doing that, of course, because like I said, it's the end of the wisp. But a lot of type 9s are afraid that when they do allow anger to come, when they do feel that it's time to express mainly anger, but all these other emotions, that we will lose control. And we're not afraid of what the other person will do. Like if we were to fight with somebody, we're afraid of what we can do. Like that we'll just straight up kill this person because of how much anger we have repressed. And it's a scary thing. So we don't connect to it. It's a last resort, right? To express ourselves. And that's why we get passive aggressive. We don't quite do the things that we need to do. And eventually it boils up and we scream. And then it's essentially back to the start again. We're reborn as a new wisp. So I hope that made sense. So the hero's journey, before this gets too much longer, I feel there are 2 steps. The first one, well, the whole idea is to reclaim your forgotten self and merge with nature and be able to take action, meaningful action, instead of just inconsequential, random little actions that don't accomplish anything. And so we need to first merge with nature and become a treant, become this animated self, expand ourselves, claim a body, and develop these boundaries of who we are, what we like, what we dislike, how we feel about things. Actually just start to claim that body, start to be a part of the world, and express ourselves, express our thoughts, our opinions, our feelings, whatever they are. Just begin to express ourselves and know that it's not the end of the world. We're not going to have to explode if we actually find a way to attack a little bit and just to express ourselves a little bit. And this is the start of taking right action, which will lead us to love and this complete connection of being and awareness in the world. I'm not a really spiritual person, but these things are starting to make a lot more sense to me throughout my studies and these videos as well. So we're starting to take action. We've become a treant. We can move. It's not super fast, and that's fine, but we are taking steps in a direction that is better for us than just circling around, running in circles, and kind of siphoning, harvesting these resources from other people to make us feel alive. So we can move. We have an attack. We can swing our little branches a little bit, and things are getting better. So that's step 1. And step 2 is to become an ancient. In the Warcraft lore, these ancients take like thousands of years to actually be fully animated. The wisp goes into the tree, and it works and works and works, and eventually it merges with the tree. That's what I would call the treant. And then that grows and grows and grows and becomes this massive tree that can move and is conscious, and it has this unparalleled insight and wisdom into the world. And I feel that we do have that. Like I said, we have this awareness where we're able to kind of see things from all these different angles, and we want to maintain peace, and that's a good thing. But we also need to be able to actively protect people, actively defend nature, and kind of just really be there, be able to express ourselves and do what we need to do. And this is the goal throughout the hero's journey, is to get to that point. But it's going to take these little growing steps, as any hero's journey is. So we need to take that leap and start to embrace a body, the treant, become ourselves, and then through time, through taking action, we'll be able to become an ancient and be able to protect other people and see deeply into how they act and be able to help the world in that sense. And hopefully that's what these videos are doing. Like, this is my attempt at taking right action, is to make these videos, to get out there instead of just think about all these ideas and never actually produce anything. So I hope that this video made sense. I hope you connected to it if you're a type 9, or if you know a type 9 and you're like, oh yeah, okay, that makes sense now. I understand this person a lot better. They're not just really lazy and stuff like that. Like, they have all these other things going on with them. And I'm also thinking about, I'm gonna tack this on the end here, I'm also thinking about creating a series of videos to help mainly introverted feelers of type 9s and type 4s build a stronger community around those types, and create quests and different ways that we can motivate each other to actually go out there and shine and become the ancients, or reconnect to the mother race, as the type 4 video would suggest. Okay, so thank you very much for watching. As you could see, the talking style is saga, so it's just this long, drawn-out story. But hopefully I kept it entertaining and kept my energy up a little bit. So thank you very much for watching. Good luck, have fun. Peace.